to get it back in 1965. So Quitman is the bellwether issue for today. For
SCLC, Marstello.
Doesn't feel like it, do it?
A friend,
doesn't feel like it, does it?
brother, and retired military veteran.
Jackson, I said, now, how did you get close to Dr. King? He said, well, nobody in line. Come on. He said, Dr. King was the most hated man alive, and nobody was trying to get next to him. During the time we got next to him and was walking with him. Today we are here at Quitman. Nobody's sniping at us. Nobody's threatening our lives. We're on a picnic walk for now. But there's going to come a time when there's a reckoning. And we're close. We're close to a reckoning in America because people have decided that you won't participate in America. They've decided you won't have jobs in America. They've decided you won't hold office in America. And you and me, we've sat by as though nothing is going on. They paid $5 and $10. Bought a few of our politicians up, a few of our spokespersons, put us on the sidelines. We've gone there and sat on the sidelines, but these folks stood up and quit. And I promised them in June that I was going to stand with them all the way to the end. If they called, I'm coming. If they called, I'm coming.
And even when he came with nearly 200 people at the old schoolhouse, they came, and they came. But the news media was not there. It was a total whiteout again. And so we have to understand, we shouldn't blame ABC, NBC, the radio stations. Any of those people, we should not blame them. Please do not blame the major news media networks. We got to blame ourselves for not setting up our own TV stations, our own radio stations, and our own newspapers. And so now that we have cameras and smartphones and iPhones that should see us and our problems and our news, don't expect anyone to do for you that which you are unwilling to do for yourself.
If they call, I'm coming. Why am I coming? Because I believe in what they're doing. I believe if they'll put their life on the line, I'll put my life on the line. We got to equal up. G.B.R. has violated their civil rights. The civil rights, or the voting rights bill, Section 5 was violated. Section 5 was violated. Thank you. We don't have to register more folks to vote. Got to go right back through the same process again. And put more folks in office so that we can make the difference. That's what we're going to have to do. We got to show them that it doesn't matter what they do, what dogs they send, what G.B.R. officers, what sheriff they send. Doesn't matter. We're still going to do what we must do. All right. All I'm saying today, Quitman 10+2, will hire many more. I'm with you always, even unto the end. God bless you. God keep you. All right.
Over this state, he's probably got 1 million miles on that car. Ed DuBose is one of the most loyal, committed freedom fighters I've met in my life. When we started the movement in Monroe on the Morris Ford Bridge, he said, Tyrone, I'm going to be with you. He's been there every single year since 2005. The marches on the bridge, the reenactments, whatever with the Troy Davis case in Savannah, he and I and Benjamin Targellis rode together. We strategized on the Troy Davis case. Ed DuBose is there. We love DuBose. But we want you to know, brother, we're going to be with you no matter what you're doing because you've always been with us. Please welcome the state president of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Brother Ed DuBose from Columbus, Georgia. Are y'all fired up? Are y'all fired up? I don't hear you. Are you fired up? Are you fired up? That's from law enforcement officers upstairs. They need to hear you. Are you fired up? Are you fired up? Are you fired up? No justice. No justice. It's the law enforcement officers upstairs that need to hear you. No justice. No justice. No justice. No
of all, before I get started, thank our good friend George Brown. I'm going to tell you why. I want you to remember Boston G.B.R. Anytime we don't get mainstream media, go to Boston G.B.R. and you will get the full story. Anytime we get mainstream media, they'll hear a little bit of what you're saying, soundbite it. Go to Boston G.B.R. you'll get the whole story. Let's give it up for this brother out here telling the story.
And now let's give it up. And now let's give it up for the founding fathers of our great republic, who set forth these fair laws, even though they may not have been intended for the black man, woman, and their children. But above all, let's give it up for the Quitman 10+2 and all the other freedom fighters who took their religion from 4 walls of a church building, 4 walls of a mosque, beyond the 4 walls of the masjid in Islam, beyond the 4 walls of a synagogue in Judaism, before the 4 walls of those who are atheists, and took their heartfelt love into the streets. And many of them bled, suffered, and died to make this nation the envy of the world. And if today's preachers, rabbis, pastors, evangelists, ushers, Congressional Black Caucus, NAACP, SCLC, Urban League, G.B.R, I see you, but you don't see me, organizations. If you sit by and watch the Voting Rights Act torn apart in the state of Georgia under leadership of Republican Governor Nathan Deal and Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp and his investigator Glenn Archie, then what can we say about the dream of Dr. King? What can we say about the work of the great founding fathers of this great republic when we sit back and will not embrace the Quitman 10+2? And we won't say nothing when the news media will report about the crime in the street, and they'll report that what they want on their beat. But when news is about the future of our children, the education of our children, and justice under the Southern judiciary in the state of Georgia, and we don't say nothing. We play the ostrich head duck game. We bury our head beneath the sand like the legend concerning the ostrich bird and proclaim that we love Jesus. We proclaim that we love Moses. We proclaim that we love Muhammad. We proclaim that we love Allah. We promise our congregations that we want to give them proper instructions how to get them from earth to heaven. But we can't get them in the courtroom for 12 outstanding citizens, 11 because 1 have deceased. And yet we say and do nothing but placate and duplicate and imitate the leaders of yesterday while we remain silent. Silent. And so I want to thank the Honorable Tyrone Brooks for standing strong. Yes, for standing strong. Standing strong for the cause of justice. And above all, I want to thank God for this man, Tyrone Brooks, as well as Marstella, as well as the Honorable Edward Dubose, former president of the NAACP.
This state, he's probably got 1,000,000 miles on that car. Ed Dubose is one of the most...
Let him close out once again, as he mentioned the Ghetto Free Press, because we didn't start doing this yesterday. Oh, we may not be getting the praise from the civil rights organizations. We may not be seen on the world stage. I'm barely even in the picture. But that's okay. It's not about being in the picture. It's about being in the mix. So when the cake is laid before God and man and our children, you can rest assured that in the archival record of God, the work that we do for the betterment of man and the betterment of this nation will be seen. Well, we'll close this out. I won't say anything else, but I will say to you, bye-bye. We go.
Committed freedom fighters I've met in my life. When we started the movement in Monroe on the Morris Ford Bridge, he said, Tyrone, I'm going to be with you. He's been there every single year since 2005. The marches on the bridge, the reenactments, whatever with the Troy Davis case in Savannah, he and I and Benjamin Targellis rode together. We strategized on the Troy Davis case. Ed DuBose is there. We love Ed DuBose. But we want you to know, brother, we're going to be with you no matter what you're doing because you've always been with us. Please welcome the state president of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Brother Ed DuBose from Columbus, Georgia. Are y'all fired up? Are y'all fired up? I don't hear you. Are you fired up? Are you fired up? That's some law enforcement officers upstairs. They need to hear you. Are you fired up? Are you fired up? Are you fired up? No justice. No justice. There's some law enforcement officers upstairs that need to hear you. No justice. No justice. No justice. Let me first of all, before I get started, thank our good friend George Brown. I'm going to tell you why. I want you to remember Boston G.B.R. Anytime we don't get mainstream media, go to Boston G.B.R. and you will get the full story. Anytime we get mainstream media, they'll hear a little bit of what you're saying, soundbite it. Go to Boston G.B.R. you get the whole story. Let's give it up for this brother out here covering the story.
Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhymes. YouTube, Boston GBR. BostonGBR at gmail.com. Bye-bye. We're gone.
Lee Smith, raise your hand. Johnny Smith, raise your hand. Where you at, Johnny? Black Presidents, raise your hand. All over, Black Presidents. Yeah, we got some leadership out here. We even got the Laurens County Youth College chapter out here. Let me recognize our president here in the county, Brother President Zurich. Is you with us? Where you at, brother? Come stand over here. This the leadership inside the corner. Anytime you got an inside game, you got to fight. We thank you for your leadership. Right across this bridge, not even 20 miles away, Tallahassee is dealing with the same thing. Things like the Tallahassee 8. A little bit further down in Madison, Florida, they're dealing with the same thing. And so here we are in Georgia, in the deep south. They call this a Dixiecrat. We gonna show them what Dixiecrat means after we finish fighting out here. That's what they call themselves, the Dixiecrat, the unmoving group. And so here you have the Quitman 10. I love my shirt. I feel like when I open this up, I can fly. I'm serious. You see these pictures on this shirt? Sometimes I can get on top of that.
Sometimes I wonder about this, brother. Let me repeat. Sometimes I wonder about talking about flying.